Hi, kindergartners. It's Mrs. Thomas Moore. I hope that you are staying safe and practicing math. Today, I'm here for us to continue to do some math lessons. So, today is called Math Meets Literacy. So, before we get started, let's do a little activity that's going to get our brains going. So, if you're ready, we're going to count by fives to 50. So the way that we're going to do that is you're going to put your hands up because we have 5 fingers on both hands, and you're going to pump your arms in the air one at a time as we count by fives. So if you're ready, let's go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Excellent job. We have counted to 50, which is great. So I want you to practice doing that at home with your parents and maybe go all the way to 100. So before we get going, I want you to know that the materials you're going to need for today are paper, pencil, and most importantly, your listening ears. So before we go any further, I want you to pause the video if you need to so that you can go get your pencil and paper so you'll have that ready. All right, let's get ready for our Math Meets Literacy story. We're going to talk about our learning goal within reading our story. And our learning goal says that I can use objects, drawings, and number sentences to show taking from. What does that mean to say taking from? Keep thinking about that because that means that our SOL that we cover is K6, which means that we're going to be modeling problems using single-step problems, using stories, pictures, and it's going to cover sums to 10 and differences within 10. So when we say sums, what are we talking about? Did you say addition? Excellent. And when we talk about differences, what are we talking about? Say it again. Subtraction. Awesome. So, with our book today, we're going to be covering all of those things in our learning goal. So, our story today is Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons. Let's look at our story, Pete the Cat. It is written by Eric Litwin. Eric Litwin wrote the story. So, if he wrote the story, what do we call him? Did you say author? Awesome. Author. He's the author of our story. And then it says the art is done by James Dean. He created this image of Pete the Cat. So if he drew this picture of Pete the Cat, what do we call him? Did you say illustrator? Amazing. So we know who our author is and we know who our illustrator is. So let's get started with our book. Pete the Cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much, he sang this song. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons, my buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. Oh no! One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many are left? 3. Do you see that? 4 buttons minus 1 button equals 3. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons, my buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? 2, because 3 minus 1 equals 2. Did Pete cry? Did you say goodness no? Buttons come and buttons go. Come on, help me sing. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons, my buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. Pop, Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? 1. 2 minus 1 equals 1. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no! Buttons come and buttons go. So he kept on singing his song. My button, my button, my one groovy button. My button, my button, my one groovy button. Oh no! The last button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? 0. That's right. 1 minus 1 equals 0. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt, and what do you think he saw? His belly button, and he kept on singing his song. My button, still have my belly button. My button, still have my belly button. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry? Goodness, no. We keep on singing. Did you enjoy that story? I did. I love Pete the Cat. So now let's talk about what we remember from reading in our story. If you have your pencil and paper, get it out now. Let's talk about how many buttons did Pete start off with on his coat, on his jacket? How many? Did you say 4? That's right. He started off with 4 buttons on his shirt. So, how many popped off at the beginning? Did you say 1? That's right. 1 button popped off on his shirt. And how many were left? That's right, 3. Did you see that problem in our story? 4 minus 1 equals 3. How can we draw a picture of that? Let's see. I can draw 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, right? And when I draw those 4 buttons, how do I show that I'm taking from that and I'm taking from it that 1? That's right. I can cross it out. So now, how many buttons are left? 1, 2, 3. Super job. There are 3 left. So that's how we would show that picture. Who remembers last week when we talked about, excuse me, number bonds? Yes, number bonds. We can show our picture using number bonds also, because we have our part, whole. So what number would go in our whole? That's right, it would be the 4. So I'm going to put our 4 right there. Now, what are the 2 parts to 4 that we found in our problem? That's right, it's 1 and 3. All right, turn your paper over. Let's try another. This one, we're going to use Pete the Cat, but we're going to act like he had more than his 4 buttons. Let's say Pete had 6 buttons. And he lost 2 buttons. So what would I do if he lost 2 of them, if 2 of them popped off? That's right, we take from, and we would take from that 2. How many buttons are left? I'm not sure, right? So let's try and draw a picture to show how we would figure it out. What do I draw first? That's right, I draw my 6 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many of those buttons do I have to mark out because we take from them how many? That's right, 2. So we're going to mark off 2 of them. how many are left? Help me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many are left? 4. So let's fix our problem. So our number sentence says 6 minus 2 equals 4. So 6, take 2 from 6 equals 4. Excellent. Let's see if we can draw a number bond again to do that. So we're going to draw our number bond. What goes in our hole right here? That's right, the 6. And what are the two parts? Did you say 2 and 4? Excellent. 2 and 4. All right, boys and girls, this one I want you to do on your own and show your work to your parents. We're going to pretend that we have 8 buttons on our shirt. How do we write the number 8? 8 buttons on our shirt. And this time, 4 of them pop off. I want you to draw on your paper 8, take from it 4, and tell me how many are left. Okay, boys and girls, that was our story and our reading for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you can remember that we can use objects, drawings, and number sentences to talk about taking from. I hope to see you next time. Stay safe and keep doing your math. Bye-bye.